Hey guys, so I built this n8n automation, which is basically your personal email or Gmail classifier. So what's going to happen if I receive an email with specific topic? For example, here I have a promo request, a consultation request, paid partnerships, or miscellaneous, meaning that it doesn't match any of those above. Okay, the n8n flow here will categorize it, and it's going to auto reply to that email. Okay, so here an example. I've sent an email from a personal email to my business email. Saying, hey, Arthur, just wanted to check if you would be open for a paid brand deal or collaboration. And it went through the n8n. It got categorized as a paid partnership right here. And then it responded, got your message about the collab or billing. I'll follow up with you within the next couple of days with the info you need. Okay, so these are not exactly AI generated. Okay, these are pre-made templates. So if I open up my Gmail node right here, which does the reply for partnerships, right? So I have basically a very plain template with an expression, so we can pull the introduction, which I'll show you how to change through the edit fields node, okay? And you can essentially modify this, okay? So we don't need to specifically use a agent here. That would be an overkill. So it's a static template, but you can change it at any time the way you want it that fits your service or your brand tone or style, okay? So if you want, guys, let's go ahead and dive into it right away. And as always, I will be providing this entire n8n template as a free download. So below the video in the description box, there's going to be a link to download this entire n8n workflow for free. Okay, so let's start with the first one, okay? So everything starts with the Gmail trigger, right? So you can activate the workflow. Right now, I'm activating or running it manually. But once you basically tailor it based on how you want it to be and feel and look, from the response perspective, for example, you're going to simply activate right here. And what's going to happen, the Gmail node will monitor in the background for new emails, okay? You can set it to be every minute, every hour, every day. I probably wouldn't suggest every minute. That's an overkill. But if you're somebody who's very busy with a lot of emails coming in and out, you can do every hour. Or if you're like less busy content creator or service provider, right, you can do like every day, let's say at 9 a.m. or midnight or whatever you want to set. Okay, but I guess the best would be every hour. That kind of makes the more sense. Okay, so every hour, the Gmail node will monitor your Gmail. And if within that hour you have a new email, it's going to go through it, it's going to classify it, it's going to categorize it, and it's going to send a reply, okay, if it matches one of those categories. So that's how it works. Okay, then we're using a basic LLM chain in a sense. So it's a information extractor. That's an official node in n8n. Basically, it does exactly what it says it does. It extracts a information from somewhere, in this case from the Gmail node, okay? And what are we looking for? Okay, so if we open up the system prompt right here, we can see a basic prompt, okay? Basically saying you are an information extraction expert. And then we essentially tell the AI or LLM what to do with it, okay? So extract only the values of the defined attributes, from the provided email text. Okay, so what do we want? We want to output only the requested attributes, which are right here. Okay, sender name as a string. Okay, and then we want to extract the sender's name from the email. Okay, if the email is available, we are falling back to an empty string so we don't crash the workflow. Okay, then we're ignoring greeting signatures, disclaimers, and basically a bunch of other stuff that's not relevant. Normalize spacing just in case, so we don't break the extraction and APIs. Okay, and do not include commentary, formatting, metadata, and basically all that other stuff, okay? We just want plain text and raw data, right? So that's what we're doing. We're using ChatGPT 4.0 for that. Mini model, okay, we don't need to use any complex models because it's going to be more expensive, and really just we're working with the text. No need to overkill with these complex models. Then we're using edit fields right here. So we're setting a couple of fields, okay? So introduction, email body, message ID, and thread ID. Okay, and these n8n are called expressions. So everything that you see in green, those are expressions, or also it's essentially a JavaScript. Okay, so this is JavaScript code, just in a different format, right? Instead of having it kind of line by line, how we used to see it in code editors, we have it sort of in line in these curly brackets. But at its core, at its nature, it's really just pure JavaScript, okay? But in n8n, they call them expressions, or if you're a developer, you can call them variables, whichever, because this is dynamic data, and we're pulling it from the JSON right here, okay? or the schema, whichever, right? So you can basically take, drag and drop this one, for example, in here, and you're going to be able to pull dynamically that data, for example, a sender name, okay? So just an example here, I can just basically delete this, okay? And if I do sender name, you guys are going to see that here it's pulling the sender name from right here, okay? So that's how it works, really easy, guys. We just need to really think about business logic in a sense, what kind of data we want to process and what's really important for the business logic and for the final output that you are trying to achieve. Okay, so for email body, or essentially the content of the email, we are pulling that also from the Gmail. Okay, so again, all these expressions are coming from the Gmail trigger, except for introduction. Introduction, well, it's also a Gmail node, but we are basically concatenating two strings. Okay, or if we don't have a sender's name, it's just gonna say hi. Okay, so essentially here, if the sender name is present, then we do hi plus sender name. If the string is empty, that's sort of a condition, because if you guys remember, in the extractor node right here, essentially we're saying if there's no sender name available, I return an empty string. An empty string is essentially right here. Okay, you guys can see these little two little brackets with the comma in between. That's an empty string. So if an empty string, simply reply with a hi. Okay, so it's in a way basic conditional logic in a way. So again, all these are coming from a node right here, or from the Gmail node, and you can pull any type of data that is available in here as an expression or a variable. All right, and to process classification, we are using, again, mini model for all mini. I do prefer 4 models over 5 for now, because 5 ones are a bit on the slow side still. So I do prefer 4 models. They're efficient and kind of get the things done that you need to without any problems. Where with the 5 models, I sometimes have a couple hiccups and they sometimes crash. All right, so then we have a bunch of Gmail nodes. It looks kind of complex, but honestly, all it is just kind of a copy paste of the node with some differences, okay? So we have a promo request node, okay? So everything related to promotions, okay? Consultation requests, everything related to consultations. Paid partnerships, everything related to paid partnerships, and etc. Okay, you can copy paste and basically adjust it based on your services or business needs, or if you're working for a client, you can basically reorganize it in a way that your client needs to. Okay, so let me open up one of them as an example. So all it really does, okay, we connect to our Gmail, and to do that, just simply open this drop-down menu right here. Click on new credential and simply sign in with your Gmail, and that's essentially how you link your Gmail with the n8n for this. It's really simple, one of the most simple applications and links in n8n for third-party apps. Let me just close this one. Okay, the resources message, because that's what we want to go through, and the operations label. There are other operations, you know, you can get emails, remove label, reply, send directly. But in this case, we want to classify and categorize everything. So we're going to be adding a label for the email that is following other promo request, for example, a label called promo, okay? And it's really easy to make these ones. You just go here, create a label, and I'm going to say something like test label, okay? I'm going to create it. And all I need to do here, really, I just need to save this because I didn't before. And if I reopen it again, okay, and if I type test, you guys can see it's popping up right away. So the change is much real time and instant, okay? So that's how you add these, or how you get these labels. Okay, so I want to categorize this email as a promo, and essentially the same steps are copy paste for other ones, okay? So that's how we are basically classifying these type of emails manually, okay? You can add more, copy paste, and add more categories that you want to classify for. And then if the email falls for promo requests, okay, it's going to again go to a Gmail node. And what's going to happen here, it's going to use again resource message, okay, because we are using a message logic, okay. We're not doing anything else. We need a message to reply to it because we are replying. So the operation is reply in this case, not add label, okay. And message ID, okay, this is essentially we are pulling that from the previous node. So once the previous Gmail node runs under that category, we're going to see it here. For now, there's nothing because we haven't executed node yet for this category. Okay, and then we have the message. Okay, it's really simple. This is again expression. Okay, from edit fields. If you guys remember, this was essentially hi or hi plus sender name, or hi plus empty string if there's no sender name, and then just really static message here. Okay, thanks for reaching out. got your message, I'm checking the details, okay? You can basically adjust these ones based on your brand tone, brand voice, or whatever you want to say in your reply. Okay, this is fully customizable as a static text, okay? Some people might want to use AI agent to do that, but I feel like that would be an overkill, okay, to use AI agent for something like this. So I just use static text, okay? It's more predictable, and it's always going to be the same response and response style in a sense, right? So that's how it works. And once it goes to that Gmail node, basically it's going to trigger the node. You guys can see here is a live example. Here is the Gmail trigger. Okay, so that's basically the ID from that email that I received. Yeah, that's an ID. And here's the message you guys can see, hi. And then it gives the static template response. And that's exactly what we are getting in here, okay? So let me give you a live example. So I'm gonna go to my personal email again, and I'm just gonna do something like, let's do a new email. So I'm gonna compose, I'll just copy paste my business email, and I'm gonna say something like, let's see what categories we had again, just out of curiosity. So we use paid partnership. So let's do a consultation, okay? So I'm gonna do something like consultation, quote, okay? I'm gonna say something like, hey Arthur, let's do it. So here I'm saying basically, hey Arthur, really loved your content, blah, blah, and I guess the keywords are here really, we wanted to see if we could book a quick discovery call and see if we could get some consultation services from you, okay? So essentially I'm gonna send this, okay? And that's gonna go to my business email right here. Let's just wait for it to come through, okay? It might take a minute. Okay, here it is, guys. So it went into my Gmail. So if I refresh it again, the n8n in the background is going to run, but not yet, because if you guys remember, I set it to be for every hour. So it's not going to be automatically triggered. So we don't really use the Gmail API resources that much, although the limit is pretty generous for a daily one. So I'm just going to do it manually since we're kind of testing it out. So I'm going to do execute workflow. Okay, so it's going to pull it. And here it is. It went into a consultation. Let me just zoom in, guys. You guys can see it got triggered for consultation. And if I go to my Gmail and if I refresh, you guys can see that it gets categorized into a consultation. And if I open it up, guys, here it is. And here the response is, I appreciate you getting in touch to lock in a quick consultation, supply with a date and time that works for you. Okay, cool, guys. So that's essentially how it works. It's pretty straightforward and simple, especially for beginners, guys. I hope you learned something. And again, I will be dropping this entire n8n template for free, guys. So below the video in the description box is going to be a link to download it. If you have any questions about this workflow or any specifics that you want to clarify, okay, just leave a comment and I'm going to help you out. And if not, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe so I can keep dropping these free videos for all of you out there, and you can master the n8n as a beginner. And I will be always providing these free templates with all my videos in most of the cases, okay? So as always, I'm gonna wish you happy building, and I'm gonna see you next time.